Alright, welcome back my magical beings. How are you? How are you really? So before I go into this reading, I'll let y'all know I actually was not going to record because my energy was kind of weird. So yeah, I'm just gonna go with the flow, and yeah, I'm gonna try to keep it going. I gotta work on being more consistent regardless of how I feel, you know. And it's kind of complicated to do, you know, because if we're sad or if we're angry or having a bad day, we kind of like to throw in the towel, you know. But when we do that, it's like we allow our circumstances to kind of get the best of us, you know. Or if there's people involved, we allow them to get the best of us, you know. So I'm going to challenge myself to continue going despite how I feel. And yeah. So maybe that's a message somebody else needs to hear, you know. Regardless what we go through, just gotta keep going. It's me, myself personally, when I'm upset or not feeling good, I kind of like to just stay to myself and cancel plans and things of that nature. But it's when we do that, we kind of miss out on certain things. Like if I didn't record this video, somebody would miss out on a particular message, and that would be my fault because I allowed my circumstances to get in the way, basically. So it's when we allow our emotions or outside situations to you know, dictate what we do and don't do, you know, it's in a way we miss out on a part of ourselves, you know. We miss out on opportunities and things of that nature. And for some of us, our actions actually affect somebody else. Like how if I didn't do this reading because of how I felt, you know, somebody would miss out on a message that they needed to hear that's really important to them in their situation, you know. So starting out, we have the Magician card, we have the Temperance, we also have the Hermit card. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, I'm gonna try to get out 3 more cards. Okay, we have the Seven of Swords in reverse. I like that card. We also have the Four of Swords. Okay, I'm gonna see about getting 1 more card. I don't know why, but when I put all the cards together like this, to me it creates like a big puzzle. You know how the puzzle pieces, I see these as puzzle pieces. So when they're put together, I feel like Bruno off of Encanto, you know, when his vision came alive and there was that big old board. If y'all haven't checked out that movie, y'all really should. It's called Encanto. Alright, so we're gonna move on. See what else we have. Alright. And at the bottom of the deck we have the Nine of Swords. I hope y'all can see that pretty good. Alright, so yeah, Six of Swords right here. Alright, so oh, I turned that the wrong way. Sorry guys. But the energy that I'm seeing right here for some of you, this is kind of the energy of, it's kind of feeding off of the last reading that I just uploaded about how we go out of our way to try to make something happen, okay, or to get that victory and things of that nature. And it's almost as if in that process we may have realized that, you know, for some of you, if this is a like a relationship or marriage, this is kind of like the energy of like wanting to like make that work and to wanting to like make it progress here. With the Seven of Swords in reverse, this is like some type of truth being revealed, okay? Now this could be with another person or with just ourselves in general, okay? So it's something about honesty, okay? And sitting to ourselves after a period of, you know, kind of overdoing it. So it's kind of like taking a step back out of the spotlight or taking a step back out of the fast lane, okay? Because when we try to like overly do it to make something work, you know, it's like all those efforts, they end up working against us, okay? So with this Temperance card, it's almost as if like whatever goal that we have in mind, it's like we still want that. We still see that victory. We still see, you know, this blooming into a promotion or relationship or marriage. But it's like now we're taking that time to ourselves to like basically like our last video, like not try so hard, you know? Like if this is meant to happen, it will. I don't have to overdo it. I don't have to, you know, step out of my range of normal, you know. And for some of us, especially with this Four of Swords right here, I hope y'all can see that pretty good, but with this card here, she actually has scars on her legs and on her arms, okay? So for a lot of us in the process of trying to make something work, we were pretty much scarred in that process. Because once again, when we go to trying to do like God's job or like overdo it, we tend to get like some type of backlash for it. It's almost as if like a punishment from the universe whenever we try to basically like overstep our boundaries. The universe is like, you can only control this much. But if you go to trying to, you know, control this other person or control the outcome, because we got the Six of Wands right here. Okay, this is all about like a victory, a celebration, a really good outcome, okay? And that's what we aim for, you know, whether it's on our job, relationship, or marriage, or in a family or friendship dynamic, you know. We aim to, for some of us, this could come in like the form of wanting to like people please, you know, because with the Six of Wands, she has people in front of her that's like cheering her on. Like whatever she just did, it just made them really happy. Okay, so I could be talking to some people who, you know, it's like you wanted to make people happy, or you wanted to be there for people, or have them to say like congratulations and things of that nature. So you may have been like overdoing it, you know, overextending yourself. And for some of you, this could kind of be like you wanted to be accepted, okay, by a group of people, whether it's on your job or your family, okay? But it's kind of like with the Seven of Swords, it's like being honest with ourselves. Like, I don't like how much I'm having to do just to please these people or to maintain this job or this relationship or marriage, you know. And with this Hermit card, this is all about us sitting to ourselves, you know, taking a step back from the noise and the other energies around us and really taking this time to ourselves, you know. And this is a really good way to ground ourselves, okay? Because we do have the Temperance card here, so that's about like moderation, you know, doing things in a balanced manner, okay? So it's like we've gotten to the point where we realize, like, okay, maybe I have been overdoing it, you know, maybe I have been overextending myself, you know. For some of us, it's to please other people, or for others of us, it could have been to reach like a certain goal, okay? Now, I will say also, which I myself am guilty of, You know how like sometimes we start like a project or something, and all we see is like the outcome of like what it could turn out to, you know? And it's like we forget that it's a whole process to get to that point, you know? And that's something that I realized about this YouTube channel, you know? Like, I see it turning out really well. I see it helping lots of people, you know? And because I have this vision of how it would look, there's sometimes whenever I kind of forget about the process and I just focus on the outcome so much that when I don't see that outcome, you know, there's times whenever I feel like everything that I post on here is not so much as going to waste, but you know, we like to speed up the process sometimes because we have this visualization of how things will be, that we kind of forget how things are, you know, or we kind of grow to not be accepting of how things are right now, you know, and it causes us to really take a step back, you know. And I actually did a reading for Leo like this a while back. Their energy was about, you know, trying to make something happen, so it's like they were stepping out of their range of normal, you know. So their task was to take a step back and realize like why they're doing it, you know. And it's kind of like this is the same reading, you know. So it's like, what we're doing, are we doing it because we want to do it, or are we doing it because we're looking for a particular outcome, you know? Because it's just like, what if this outcome will take longer than we expected, you know? Or what if it'll have a different outcome, you know? And I think sometimes we get like frustrated with ourselves because we anticipate things going a certain way, you know? And when they don't, that's kind of around the time when we start to feel like, okay, well, maybe I'm doing something wrong, or, you know, maybe, you know, and it puts us in a bad energy with ourselves because we're just like, you know, well, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe maybe I should post more, you know. Because once again, with this channel, you know, I like to post my content and the readings, but there are times where I just like, you know, this is not going how I expected it to. You know, my views are not where I expected them to be. At some point they were, and it's like now, you know, it's less. So there are times whenever, you know, and I'm actually coming out of that energy, but there were times when I kind of got discouraged by that, you know. And you know, I guess it could be like some form of like outside validations where it's just like, okay, well, if I do this, you know, with the views being there, the subscribers being there, that lets me know that people are actually watching this, you know. It's like there's times when we look for external validation, you know, but there comes a point in time whenever our validation has to be there for ourselves, you know. And that's what I'm working on now with this YouTube channel. It's like, despite the energies around us, we have to find that inspiration and that motivation within us to keep going. Like, we have to find that reason to keep going with or without the external validation. And that's crazy because I opened this video up telling you guys that I actually was not going to record this video. I didn't feel like it. I wasn't in the right type of energy. And it's really because of outside energies, you know. And it's crazy how that ended up spilling into this reading here, you know. Because it's like we have this mindset that people around us should be happy for us. People around us should like us, or people around us should love us. And it's like, when it's not like that, you know, or if it's not how we are thinking it should be, that's whenever we kind of feel a little butthurt. But the truth of the matter is, it's not about those people. It's not about them liking us. It's not about the views. It's not about the subscribers. It's about us genuinely enjoying ourselves and continuing on our path, you know? And it's kind of like, okay, so what are we here for? You know, that's the question that just came to my mind. Are we here to be on our life path and be ourselves, or are we here to please other people? Are we here to be liked and to be loved? Because something I've realized is like, you can be the sweetest person, but there will always be somebody who's not cheering for you. There will always be somebody who doesn't like you. And for the longest time, which really I'm still kind of like curious about that, but like for a really long time I've always wondered like, why? You know, I never understood how people could not be happy for other people and not cheer them on and support them. I never, and to this day I still don't understand, you know. But I guess that's I guess I kind of got my answer in the last reading that I did about people not being happy for other people, you know, because it triggers within them the insecurity that I could have did that, I should have did that, I would have did that, but I didn't, you know. But it's not too late, you know. So that's why I myself personally don't understand like negative energy around us, you know, because like if I could do it, you can do it, you know. And it's like, I'm a very supportive person myself, so it's like I expect people around me to be the same, but there's times when those people are not, you know. And it's kind of like that's when reality kicks in, that we can't control other people, and our path in this lifetime should not be about if people agree with us or support us or not, or if they like us or if they love us. It shouldn't be about that, you know, because if we stop what we're doing because other people don't support or don't like us, or, you know, if we stop that, we stop our own flow, you know. We stop our own flow. We disturb our own manifestation portal. Because that last video that I posted, it was about, something that I mentioned was about our manifestation portal, how it doesn't need too much energy, but we have to also make sure that we're putting in enough energy. But if we fall back completely because people around us are not supporting us as we would like them to, we take our energy out of that manifestation portal and it can't manifest itself. You know, we have to be exerting some level of energy into things to make it work. You know what I mean by that? Okay, if I'm manifesting for this channel to grow and help other people, yes, the universe will do, you know, its job, or God will do his job, but I have to also do my job, which is to do these readings and get them out. But if I allow outside energies to stop me in my flow, this can't manifest itself. Like, the universe is never gonna actually do all the work for us. Like, we have to actually exert a certain amount of energy, you know. But once again, if we fall back, you know, we keep all of that to ourselves. It's like what we're trying to manifest, this bright reality that we're trying to manifest, it just stays inside of us. It just becomes something that we just think about or visualize because we're not actually taking action on it, you know, because the universe is not going to do the work for us. No, it's not going to. It does its end and it expects us to, you know, do our part. You know, but that the manifestation portal, it's a consistent flow of energy, you know. So it's like we have to find that motivation within us, or a reason. Like, we have to find a reason to keep going, you know. We have to find a reason to continue to manifest things, whether people are supportive of it or not, you know. Because it is really complicated, you know, trying to do something, or if you feel like people don't really support you or like you, you know. Because me, myself, I'm a Libra, so I actually do kind of care about people who do and don't like me, because I'm a sweetheart, and I just don't understand why people wouldn't like a sweetheart. you know? But that's something that I cannot control. Only thing I can control is if I continue to push forward or not, you know? And if I don't push forward, that would just be my fault. That would be me dropping the ball. And I can't get mad at anybody around me for me dropping the ball, you know, or for me giving up on my dreams. Like, I can't blame anybody, you know? And yeah, it's like we just have to watch where we're getting our validation, where we're getting our sense of inspiration and motivation from, you know? Because I'm a firm believer that it's like really good to like kind of get our kudos from other people, like, hey, good job, you know? But at the end of the day, that source of support, it actually needs to come from within, you know? Because what if those people are not around, okay? Or what if those people change their approach towards us? Like, one day they're supportive and then the next day they're not, you know? It's like if we just feed off of outside energy, if we go based off of just outside energy, you know, whether it's from friends or family, people in the neighborhood, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband or wife, whoever, you know, if we keep seeking this type of support and validation and comfort, you know, and emotional security from other people, you know, if we don't know how to give that to ourselves, if we don't know how to support ourselves and cheer ourselves on, if those people decide not to cheer us on anymore, that would affect our manifestation. Because we wouldn't have that drive or that courage or motivation to keep going by ourselves, you know? So, and also with this Temperance card, once again, this is about moderation. So once again, it's good to have, you know, people around you that are supportive. It's really good for us to have people around us who do cheer us on, you know? But when we get to the point to where we are overly relying on that, to where like, okay, this person didn't tell me good job, so maybe I didn't do a good job, you know? Like, if we are expecting a continuous flow of support from people to where we start to basically neglect being there for ourselves, you know, that kind of puts us on like really rocky grounds, you know? It puts us on really rocky grounds. Because once again, I was not going to record this video, and it was all because of outside energies, you know? And it's like when we don't follow through with our goals or our dreams, you know, we can't pin that on anybody. We can't blame anybody, you know? All that does is just, you know, each time we don't take responsibility, all that does is chip away at our opportunity to fix that situation. You know, it's like we have to be honest with ourselves. Did these people stop us from achieving our goals, or did we allow them to? You know, did these people stop us from having a good day, or did we allow them to stop us from having a good day, you know? That kind of reminds me of, it was some type of post, I think it was on Instagram, but it was this really big ship, or was it a boat? I don't remember. But the saying above it was, it's not about the water that's around the ship or the boat. You know, the water itself is not the problem, but it's when that water gets inside the boat, when it floods the boat or the ship, and it becomes a problem, you know? So it's like the same thing, you know, with us. You know, it's okay to have naysayers. It's okay to have people who don't support us or who don't like us. Like, that's absolutely fine. But when we allow negative thoughts or negative opinions of other people to get inside of our manifestation portal and cause us doubt and insecurity and procrastination and things of that nature, that's when it becomes a problem. You know, nothing's wrong with people not liking what we do. Nothing's wrong with people not being supportive. It's just when we stop doing what we're doing, or when we sacrifice what it is that we want to do for these people, that's when the problem creeps in. You know, and it's kind of like, once again, when we give up on ourselves or our dreams or our goals or our passions, you know, we can't blame those people. Because the same way we can't control them, their actions, how they feel, they can't control us or our actions or how we feel unless we let them, you know? So it's kind of like, if we ever had a grand idea and somebody said something negative so we didn't do it, we can't get angry at that person. We cannot blame them. Okay? Because we have the Seven of Swords in reverse right here. And this is about honesty. This is about truth, clarity, and revelations. And like I said, this doesn't seem like it involves another person. This honest energy, it seems like it's redirected at us. Us having to be honest with ourselves. Like, where I am, who I am, and what I have is basically my fault. I am where I am because of me. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we all know if we're happy where we are. We all know if we're happy with who we are. We all know if we're happy with what we have, you know. If we are happy, you know, kudos. That's, you know, we did that. But if we're not happy with the things that we sacrificed or gave up or didn't do, you know, it's kind of like truth is here to ask us, whose fault is that? Whose fault is it that you didn't go to college? Whose fault is it that you didn't get that house? Whose fault? You know? And it's kind of like, in this reading, Spirit is kind of like getting on our case and correcting us. You know? And with the reading that I just got done doing, the chakra music that I was playing in the background was the I think it was the, no, not crown or root or sacral. It wasn't the heart either. I think it was, no, it wasn't the root chakra either. Okay, let me think. Okay, crown, third eye, throat chakra, heart chakra, sacral, root. I think it was the root chakra. I forgot, but one of the symptoms of that blocked chakra in particular was the victim mentality, you know, and it's like we go through situations and we try our hardest to kind of like make sense out of it, and it's like our first instinct is to blame somebody else. I don't know why we're set up like that. I don't know what causes that in particular. I guess because us taking the blame, that would mean that we made a mistake, or that would mean that we are wrong, you know, and we fall into spells where we don't want to believe that, especially if we were negatively affected by what happened. We don't want to believe that we're the reason why we got hurt. We don't want to believe that we're the reason why certain things in our life didn't happen. We don't want to be the ones to say that was my fault that did not happen. You know? Because that would mean that we dropped the ball on ourselves, and that's a hard reality to accept. Like, you mean to tell me I'm the reason why I got these problems? I'm the reason why this, you know, why I don't have this, or why I'm not, you know, living up to my highest potential? You mean to tell me I'm the reason? It's my fault? You know, like, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to admit to that. You know? But truth of the matter is, the longer that we kind of like pin the blame on other people, we give off our opportunity to do something. Because each time we say, okay, it was that person's fault, we pin all that power on them. So it's like, okay, since it's their fault, it's up to them to fix this. That's basically what we're saying. But when we like redirect that energy back to ourselves, like, okay, that was my fault. Each time we say that it was our fault, each time we take responsibility, we allow ourselves that power. We grant ourselves that power to do something about it. Let's say, for instance, if me and a friend were playing like with a ball and the ball crossed the street. Let's say I was like, okay, so that was your fault. The ball is over there, so you go get it. So that puts all that pressure on that person. Now, what if they don't go get it? The ball is just going to be out there. But if I say to myself, you know, okay, it was my fault, or even if it wasn't my fault, I still can go over there and get that ball so that we can continue playing our game. So it's kind of like the conversation of, it's not about whose fault it is, but rather who is going to do something about it, you know? If it involves, you know, more than one person. You know? Because I wasn't going to do this reading and I convinced myself that it was because of other people or other energies, but no, I am my own person. I get to dictate what I will and won't do. So if I didn't record this reading, if I didn't meet my goal of posting this video at 1, that would be solely my fault. You know, yes, things happen to lead to that decision, but ultimately the decision that gets made is my responsibility. You know, and I think a lot of times we forget that. We forget that things can happen that lead up to a certain point of us deciding to do something, but we still decided to make those decisions. We get to decide if we make that dream come alive or not. It's not about the unsupportive family. It's not about people disagreeing with us. It's not about them. It's about us and what we decide to do at the end of the day. You know, if we don't reach a particular outcome or that victory or make that dream come true, that is solely our fault. You know, if I didn't post this video, I can't blame anybody. I can't blame what happened. I can't, you know, I can, but all that would do was take away my power. Because I'm literally saying, okay, these people control my YouTube channel. They get to dictate when I do post and when I don't post. If they make me angry, I don't post. It's like we allow outside people to control us, and then we get upset when a particular outcome is not turning out how we want it to, but it didn't turn out how we want it to because we chose to give power to other people and other things. We have to redirect all that blame to ourselves for us to do something about it. You know, and I'm going to take this conversation even deeper, you know. Childhood, okay? Let's go back to childhood. A lot of us, we may have experienced something in our childhoods that it may be a part of why we do certain things or why we don't do certain things. And a lot of times we're guilty of blaming our childhood, you know. But with the 7 of Swords in reverse, that's when truth kicks in. And the truth is, we are not children anymore. We are not in that, you know, abusive home anymore. We are not in that toxic environment anymore. And if we are, as adults, that's our responsibility. That's our fault. We are grown now. We are not little kids. How we are, how we act, where we are in life, it's not about our childhood, but it's about us using our childhood basically as an excuse. Because each time we do that, we chip away at our power to become better. Like, I'm like this because my childhood, you know? We just keep giving our childhood more and more power each time we do that. But truth of the matter is, we are who we are and how we are because we choose to be this way. Each day we choose who we are. Because once again, I could have chose You know, I could have chosen not to record this. And I could have blamed it on outside energies. In my life problems, I could have blamed them. You know? But I said to myself, I'm not going to let that stop me. We get to dictate, you know, what affects us. Like, I'm not going to say it's not going to hurt or not anger us, but we get to decide how we're going to respond to it, you know? We get to determine that. And I think a lot of times we forget. Like, oh, that happened, so this is what happened. Like, no, that happened and we decided to do this. We decided to be this way. You know? It's all about us taking accountability to move forward. But it's like we kind of get like temporary pleasure off of putting our problems or our failures or our shortcomings on other people or other things. It just seems easier to blame, you know? I mean, we don't have to, you know, we don't have to deal with that. But truth of the matter is, you know how they say with great power comes great responsibility? Each time we think about blaming somebody else, we need to think, okay, each time I blame you, I'm giving you more and more power. Each time I blame other people for my problems, I'm giving them my responsibilities to change this, meaning that I'm giving them power over me and power over my life. You know, we create, like literally, we manifest toxic connections by giving other people power over our behavior or situations. We create codependencies, you know. We don't try to, but subconsciously that's what's happening. Because like, once again, we would much rather blame something or somebody else because it just makes us feel better. I don't know, you know, versus blaming ourselves. You know? But whether or not I recorded this video or not, that is solely my responsibility. That requires my actions. If I don't do it, that will be an action that I took. And if I did do it, which I am, you know, this is a decision that I made. You know? Because I think sometimes we forget, and I think that's where like emotional intelligence comes in, because emotional intelligence is, okay, I feel this way, but I don't have to act on how I feel. I can respond differently. You know, most people, like, if we get angry, you know, it's like we have that like reflex of how we should respond, but that's when we think to ourselves, like, if we actually take time to ourselves to kind of like slow down a little before we respond, that's where we think to ourselves, like, I don't have to show out. I don't have to cuss these people out. Like, I don't have to do this, like, just because I'm angry. You know, or a lot of times if we're sad, we tend like not to really be active. Or me personally, like when I'm sad, I don't really feel like doing anything, you know. But it's kind of like in my head, I think to myself, like, okay, I'm feeling a little down, my energy is a little off, I'm a little sad, you know. I'm acknowledging those emotions, but I also acknowledge the fact that, okay, I don't have to let this control how my day goes. You know, I don't have to let this control whether I record a video or not, you know. Because, you know, I thought for the longest that I was just inconsistent, but really it's just I give too much power to my emotions. I go by how I feel instead of me actually controlling my actions, you know. And I know a lot of other people can relate to that. Like, if I'm in a good mood, you know, yeah, we can go have fun and enjoy each other. But if I'm in a bad mood, like, you know, I do. Up until now, I have ran my life by my emotions. And I can see why that caused so many inconsistencies with me, you know. I thought it was just ADHD, but no, it just looks like I've been giving my emotions much more power than I was supposed to, you know? If I'm sad, I don't feel like doing nothing. If I'm mad, I don't feel like talking to nobody. But if I'm happy, I'll do what I'm supposed to do. I talk to people, I respond, you know? It's all about emotions. And we try to blame other things or other people, like, no, that happened, so I'm not gonna do this, or I'm not gonna go to that family event because such and such is there, you know. Like, we blame other people so much that we become basically a slave to other people, you know. We become a slave to our emotions. For some of us, we become a slave to people's validation. Like, okay, they told me I'm doing a good job, so I'm going to keep going. Oh, they didn't say I'm doing a good job. Okay, I'm going to stop. Maybe they don't like what I'm doing. We become a slave. A slave is somebody who you tell them to do this, they do it. You tell them not to do that, they don't. We give away so much of our power, and it's like we don't even try to do it. We don't know that that's what we're doing. You know, and we wonder like how or why our life is how it is, or why things seem to be how they are, you know. And it's because we're giving away our power, we're giving away our control, you know. And when we do that, of course our life is gonna seem like a circus, you know, because we're being controlled by many different factors around us, you know. But you know, it's like we just have to remember that who we are, where we are, what we do, and what we have, it is our fault. It is our responsibility. We are to blame. You know, if we don't have the amount of money that we want, that's our fault. It's our fault. It's our responsibility. I'll say that. It's our responsibility. Because it's kind of like there's things that we could have done leading up to now that could have put us in a situation where we are making the money that we want to. You know, we can't blame anything or anybody else, because there's always a way. You know? And it's like, I used to be like really quick to like help people until I realized that like each situation that we get ourselves in, y'all, unless it just so happened to be like a wrong place, wrong time type of situation, 9 times out of 10, the things that we did leading up to that situation, it led to that particular fallout, or it led to that particular outcome, you know. Each time we got into a jam or something, if we thought to ourselves, well, maybe if I would have did this instead, or maybe if I didn't do that instead, that wouldn't have happened. So we do have much more power than people think. You know, a female, for instance, like if she ends up like with an abuser or something, you know, yes, the abuser is wrong, but if we have like an interview with that woman, she will tell you that I noticed something, or I could have did this, or I should have did that, you know. Like she will say to herself that I had much more control over the situation than I thought I did. But once again, we give so much power to things and people, like we really do. We don't try to though. It's like I guess our comfort zone, I guess, you know. And then with this 9 of Swords in reverse, you know, and also with this Devil in reverse right here, you know, this is us breaking out of the energy of feeling hopeless, or breaking out of that energy or feeling like things are out of our control, you know, because we have so much more power than we give ourselves credit for, you know. This YouTube channel, it'll blossom most definitely, but I have to be consistent. I can't give into negative energies and negative thoughts, sometimes even my own. You know, whatever we blame for our problems, or whoever we blame, it's like we make them our God. Once again, up until now, I've always made my emotions my God. My emotions, like, we angry, okay, so I respond to that like, okay, my emotions said we angry, so I can't talk to y'all, I can't come out, I can't spend time with y'all. Like, no, you know, it's like we hold ourselves in these mental prisons, and we become a slave sometimes to ourselves. Sometimes we become a slave to our own negative thoughts, our own procrastination, our own doubts, our own anxiety, our own depression, you know, and we forget that ultimately what we do and don't decide to do, that's solely up to us. It's not up to our sadness. It's not up to our depression or our anxiety or our parents or our childhood, our grandma, granddaddy. It's not up to them. You know, we get to decide who we will be in this lifetime. We get to decide, you know, what we will choose to do. That's our responsibility. You know, yeah, we may have went through, you know, situations that were very unfair, you know, but how we turn out as adults, that's our responsibility. You know, and me, myself, personally, that's why I got back into therapy, because I realized that certain things about my past has kind of taken control. No, I've allowed them to take control, you know, so now I'm trying to get to the bottom of certain things in my own personal life so that I can become back in control. You know, so for some of you, you know, if you need to get back in therapy, I say, or if you need to start getting in therapy, I say go for it. I myself personally, I am in therapy, you know, because sometimes when we have grown adjusted for a long period of time of giving away our power to our childhood, mom, dad, girlfriend, boyfriend, abusive ex, you know, when we go so long with giving them power, we actually do need a little help with getting back on top of things, claiming back our power, you know, and stepping back into our truth. Sometimes we do need help with that process, because we went so long with blaming our childhood, you know. It's just like, okay, so if we're gonna blame our childhood, let's get to the bottom of it, you know. Let's find out why we're blaming our childhood and what we can do about it now that we are adults and that we're no longer in that situation. We get to determine if we will continue to be in situations like that or not, you know. So yeah, and you know what, that's something that I really like about these readings, because it seems like whatever energy I'm in, like starting out, like it ended up like being what the whole topic is about, you know. So I guess it's kind of good that I go through what I go through, because it allows me to expand on it and talk about it, you know, to where it can help somebody else out. And in the process of me helping somebody else out, it actually helps me too, you know. And I learned so much from these readings, you know. Like, these are not just for y'all. Like, this is actually like my therapy itself, you know. It helps me to see things from a different perspective, you know. And that's sometimes needed, because sometimes we sit to ourselves and we just see things a certain way. But when we hear another person like expand on it a little bit, you know, it kind of helps us to see things so much more differently. And when we see things differently, when our perspective is different, we approach it a whole lot different, you know, and we move different, you know. But yeah, the Seven of Swords in reverse, this is all about truth, honesty, clarity, okay? It's like we have to be honest with ourselves on who we are, where we are, why we are, how we are. Like, you know, all of what pertains to us is our responsibility. You know, if I go out there and slap somebody, that's my responsibility. That's my actions. That's something I did. It's not about if they were rude or obnoxious. Like, no, it's up to me how I will behave, how I will respond. You know, it's not up to my anger. It's not up to my feelings being hurt. It's not up to any of that. You know, we get to determine who we will be in certain situations. Each day we wake up, we get to decide what type of person we will be and what we will do. Today, I was going to be a person who allows her outside energies and her problems to get in the way. I was going to be that person today. I was going to be that person that gave in to things around me, you know, but I chose not to be. I chose to be a person who continues anyway. I chose to be this person, you know. Each day we have that choice to make, you know. If our dreams came alive or not, that's our responsibility, you know. It's all up to us. What we do, that's our responsibility, you know. Now, there may be things that lead up to why we do certain things, but at the end of the day, we still have choices, you know. Each time we take accountability for our decisions and our choices, that gives us power, you know. That gives us power, you know. Because there's power in knowing that, okay, I take the blame so I can do something about this. Like, there's power in that. But if we're just like, no, it's your fault, you need to do something about this, like, you know, we put all that power in somebody else's hands to fix a situation that they didn't break or they didn't create, you know. We created that with our actions. We responded to something or to somebody. It was our response that caused certain things to happen. If I didn't post this video, it wouldn't have been about what went on in my life. It wouldn't have been about how I was feeling. It would have been about what I chose not to do. You know, it's us, and we have to always remember that, you know. But we're just grown so adjusted to blaming. It just feels easier to do that. I don't know why. you know, I guess because at the end of the day, we just feel ashamed. Like, okay, you mean to tell me I didn't follow my dream? Like, that was my fault, you know? It puts shame to us, you know? It puts shame to us. Like, oh man, I did that. I didn't do that, you know? It just feels better to blame somebody else so we don't have to deal with that regret or that remorse or that shame, you know? But each time we put that off on something or somebody else, those things and those people become our gods. Like, all this happened in my childhood, so that's why I am how I am. We give our childhood power over our actions. Instead of saying, you know what, yes, that did happen in my childhood, but now I'm in a much better headspace. I'm in a better environment. I'm an adult. If I don't, you know, like, I get to decide how my life is now, not my childhood. You know, yeah, it still kind of hurt a little bit, but I don't have to act off of that hurt. I don't have to respond to how I'm feeling. I'm acknowledging it. I'm acknowledging that I'm hurt. I'm acknowledging that my trust has been betrayed. I'm acknowledging that. But how I treat people, how I carry myself, that's my responsibility. And if I need help with this process, you know, that's where therapy comes in, counseling, you know, because sometimes we do need help with these processes, especially if it stems from childhood. You know, if we went so long with something or somebody being the reason, you know, we do need help with that process to get our power back, you know, because some of those behaviors, it has become a part of us because we've been doing it for so long, you know, because our power to change it is there, but sometimes it takes time and therapy, you know, our counseling. So we can kind of like reprogram our brains, you know, to not do what it's so used to doing. Sometimes we do need help with that process, and that's okay, you know. That's okay. But yeah, this reading is just about knowing that we have so much more power than we think. And who we are, where we are, what we have, what we do, that's our business. That's our responsibility. You know, we can do something about that if we don't like it. We can do something about that. You know. But yeah. And then right here we have this Page of Pentacles in reverse. So this actually kind of speaks of like a step forward that's not occurring just yet, you know. And once again, like, okay, in this picture right here, she's just standing on like one foot, okay? But that's up to her. She can easily put her foot down, but it's like in her mind, she's like, okay, this coin is heavy, so I'm gonna just stand on one foot like this. I'm gonna just balance with one foot, you know. It's like just giving that power to this coin, or the wind blowing, like just many excuses, you know. But at the end of the day, it's up to her if both feet come to the ground or not. That's her body, you know. But we forget that sometimes, okay? We got this Page of Swords in reverse, okay? This speaks of us not fully grasping something, not fully learning a lesson here, you know? And the lesson, the truth is that, you know, we get to control our lives and ourselves, you know? That's in our power. What we do and don't do in this lifetime, that's solely up to us. It's not up to our anxiety. It's not up to our emotions. It's not up to the death of our loved ones. It's not up to our childhood. It's not up to any of that. We get to decide if we will live a good life. We get to decide if we will follow those dreams. We get to decide what we will do in this lifetime, you know, and how we will be. You know, a lot of people, including myself in the past, you know, we go through things and it kind of like angers us because we have been done wrong, you know. So it's like sometimes we carry ourselves with that anger and like take it out on like other people and things of that nature, you know. But you know, and in those times, it's like we blame people. Like, I'm angry because this happened to me in my childhood. I'm angry because I was treated this way, you know. But no, it's not because of what we went through. It's not because of how we were treated. I mean, it's a part of it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, who we are, how we are, and how we carry ourselves, that is strictly our business. That's our responsibility. If I carry myself as an angry person, that's my problem. That's my choice. I will be choosing to be that type of person, you know. But I chose to continue to be peaceful. I chose to continue to be, you know, me, you know. I never wanted to turn out like a bitter, mean person because of what I went through, you know, because that would just be me punishing innocent people for things that they didn't do to me, you know, and those people don't deserve that, you know. So that's why I kind of made a promise to myself to continue to be sweet regardless, you know. I'm more firm with like my boundaries now, you know, but I'm still sweet at heart, you know. It kind of made me think about like the movie Moana. I'm gonna keep mentioning it until everybody watches it. But in the movie Moana, Maui, who was a demigod, he stole the heart of Tafiti, you know, and that's when Taka came into the picture. And Moana thought that Tafiti and Taka were two separate people, but actually they were the same person. It's just Taka was the version of Tafiti who was angry and bitter. She had been treated poorly. you know? And it's kind of like with Tafiti and Takai, it's like we get to choose who we will be. Tafiti, she was very peaceful, very beautiful, very abundant, you know, and nurturing. And Takai, she was very angry. It's like she was the version of, you know, honestly, in my mind, I saw Moana kind of as like the innocent child who something happened to her, and it's like she had a chance to look at how she could turn out as an adult. Like Tafiti was like the good adult version of her, and Takai was like the angry adult version of her. And Moana, as a teen or child in that movie, it's like she had a chance to understand both paths, or like both people that she could become, and she had to make a decision of how she was going to allow that situation to play in her life. You know, she had to choose how, basically, who she will become in the future, you know, because she went up to Takai to restore her heart, and she told Takai, like, that's not who you are, you know. Like, yes, what happened to you, it happened to you, but it's like we have to make a decision not to let it sway us or take away our innocence or our purity or our kindness, you know. Because most people who are filled with like anger and really mean towards people, at some point in time they used to be like really nice. But it's like whatever happened to them, they allowed that to change them, you know. And a video I did a while back about us misunderstanding the universe. Sometimes we go through things like that and we think it's the universe telling us to hate people, never trust anybody ever again, never love again. And the universe is just like, I did not teach you that. I did not tell you that. I didn't put you through those situations to develop an attitude towards the world. I didn't put you through that to hate people. You know, I just put you through that to become more self-aware and more alert, you know, and know what to look out for in people. You know, nothing's wrong with you being kind, but now you know what people to be aware of, you know. So, yeah. But we get to determine how we will turn out. You know, each day we wake up, what we do, what we don't do, how we carry ourselves, all of that is up to us. But I think we forget that sometimes. We forget that we have so much more control and power than we really do. We forget sometimes, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. But, you know, things are gonna happen. There's gonna be people and things around us that kind of introduce in our lives a negative energy. But what we decide to do with that negative energy, that part is solely up to us. Like, we can't control, you know, if things always go smooth or not. We can't control if people around us cause, like, you know, a disturbance. Like, we can't control that. All we really control is how we'll respond to it, you know, and how we'll move forward, you know. We can choose to move forward and, you know, be angry and, you know, give up, you know. That's always an option, you know. Or we can choose to, like, not let things take control of us like that, you know. We all have choices to make. We all have decisions, you know. But, you know, the more we blame other things and other people for why we do certain things or why we don't do certain things, you know, all we do is allow them to become our God. That takes away our power. It takes away our strength to do something different, you know. But we have what it takes to manifest, you know, the new reality or whatever goal this is, whatever dream this is. Like with my YouTube channel, like, I have everything it takes to make this reach a certain outcome, you know. But it'll be up to me on if I will continue or not. That's up to me. Like, that's solely up to me, you know. If it don't turn out how I want it to, 9 times out of 10 it's because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. You know, this manifestation portal, it's all about the energy that we put in. It's a certain amount of energy that we have to put in with the universe. It's like we're co-create with the universe. If we don't do our part, the universe is like, I'm not about to like manifest this for you. Like, you have to do your part, you know. Yes, you can reach this happy outcome, you know, and this dream, this goal. Most definitely you have what it takes. But if you start getting all discouraged and start slacking and stuff like that, like, the universe is like, I can't do it for you, you know. So it's like, that's where we have to find a way to keep ourselves going and to keep ourselves, you know, because it's really easy to give in to the things that's going on around us. It really is. And I've always struggled with that, you know. But if certain things don't play out how they're supposed to, you know, or if certain dreams and things don't come alive like we're supposed to, somewhere or another we have something to do with that process, you know. But the sooner we take accountability and responsibility, the sooner we can decide to do something differently about it, you know. But the more we pin the blame on other things and other people, all that does is just, it holds us captive, you know. Because in this picture right here with this Four of Swords, it's like she's thinking to herself, like, all these people hurt me, you know, so I'm just right here. It's like she's thinking about everything that was done to her. Like, she has scars and things on her, you know. But at any moment she can think to herself, you know what, I can get out of this nest. I still can get up and continue to live my life. I can continue to be great. I can go back to doing what I was doing. But whether she stays here and lay down or not, that's solely up to her. It's not up to the person who maybe was abusing, you know, abusing her, you know. It's not up to those people or whatever she went through. It's up to her if she will get up out of this nest or not. And she may be thinking to herself, like, what am I even doing in this bird nest? It's all prickly, you know, it smells funny, it's not comfortable. She can either stay there and continue to complain about it, or, you know, get up and go somewhere else. We don't have to just sit here and take certain things. We don't have to, you know, just settle. We all have choices to make. Who we are, where we are in life, and what we have and what we do, it's up to us. If we don't like where we are in life right now, that's nobody's fault, you know. There may have been things that happened to lead up to this point, but ultimately the outcome, you know, what we decide to do, you know, the life that we choose to live, the life path we decide to go on, that's only up to us. Our childhood doesn't get to dictate that, or the people that we decide to become, you know. It's like a perfect example. Like, if there's a parent who drunk a lot of alcohol, so like the child decides to grow up and drink a lot of alcohol, you know, if the child was in a mentality that, okay, I drink this alcohol because my daddy drank alcohol, it's like that child would be giving their dad, you know, power over their behavior. But when that child starts to think to themselves, like, I'm drinking this alcohol because I am drinking this alcohol, you know, it's like we have to sometimes listen to ourselves. I'm drinking this alcohol because of my dad. Who's doing it? I am drinking this alcohol. Okay. So because I am doing this, surely I can stop doing this. Because it's me. I'm doing this, you know. It's like sometimes we just got to stop and listen to ourselves. I'm this way because of my childhood. Who's this way? I'm this way. Okay. So surely I can be a different way, right? I think so. I think so. You know, I think I can carry myself differently. If I can carry myself this way, surely I can carry myself, you know, a better way, you know. But once again, if we've been doing something for so long, you know, that is where help comes in. You know, for some of you that's more on like the spiritual side of things, which I myself, I am too, where we like to lean on the universe and our spiritual guides and things of that nature, like during hard processes. I will say that we kind of have to be careful with that part. There's this movie, Jaden Smith, he plays in it. He was like really little, and it was a joke that he was telling to the man that was walking beside him. And the joke was about this man who was stuck at sea, and he basically fell off his boat or whatever, and he was waiting for God to come save him. So he kept praying. He was like, God, I need help. I need you to send me help. And a boat came, and the guy that was on the boat trying to help the older man, he was like, come on, get on the boat. And the older man was like, no, I'm waiting on God. So that dude, he drove off. Another boat came, another guy. He was trying to help him. He was like, hey, come on, get on the boat. He's like, no, I'm waiting on God to send me some help. You know? And long story short, the man ended up actually dying at sea. And when he met God, he was like, God, I was praying for help. Where were you? And God was like, I sent like 7 boats, you dummy. You know? And the man, he started laughing or whatever at Jaden's joke. But it's kind of like the same thing here. It's like we say we want help with that process, you know, like to my spiritual people. Like, oh, I'm leaning on the universe. I'm leaning on God. You know, it's like we have to be very careful with that process, okay? Because for the longest, I was like dealing with things myself. And, you know, just know that that's what therapists are there for, okay? That's what counselors are there for. They're not there just for fun, okay? The universe and God put those people in place so that they can be there for us, okay? But, yeah, we have to be careful with that, because we're just saying, okay, universe, I want help with getting through this mental disorder. I want help with, you know, going through my childhood traumas. Like a therapist, that's what therapists are there for, to my spiritual people, okay? We got to be careful with relying on the universe, okay? Because the universe is not always just some invisible spirit. Sometimes it's an actual person with a degree in psychology that can actually help us through these things, okay? So to my spiritual people, I would say be very careful with that. I myself am just now learning of this, okay? Spirit comes in the form of people with psychology degrees, okay? So, yeah, it's okay to get help during this process, okay? Because if we've been a certain way for a really long time, we are going to need help with unlearning those behavior patterns, okay? But, yeah, that's pretty much all that I have for you guys in this reading. It's just all about accountability and realizing that we have so much more power than we give ourselves credit for, okay? And who we are, where we are in life right now, you know, what we have and what we do, what life path we own, how we carry ourselves, that is our responsibility, okay? Not our parents, not our childhood, not our husband, wife, abusive ex, none of that, okay? How we are is up to us. If we chase our dreams or not, that's up to us. That's our responsibility, you know? If we didn't do things in the past, we have to admit that we dropped the ball on ourselves, and that's okay. But the sooner we can admit to that mistake and admit to that truth, the sooner we can do something about it. You know? So, yeah, that's all that I have, guys. I pray that y'all took something very valuable from this reading. Just know that you got it, okay? And you are not your circumstances. You are not the negative energy around you. You are not your childhood. You are who you decide to be, okay? So, yeah, I'll let you guys go. Until next time, toodles!